Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today I am joined, or should I say rejoined, our first returning guest, Mr. Tom Noble, now founder of Merumask. How are you, Tom?
I'm great. Great to be back. Great to be the first return guest.
Wasn't I your first podcast?
I think you were.
And I think you've done. Have you done a couple?
And you're my
since?
second one.
Oh no, I thought you had done some. You were thinking about it.
I did one. I started a podcast.
Yeah, that was it.
But like everyone who starts podcasts, a lot of them fail, and mine was one of the ones that failed. I did two, and I wasn't a good host.
Oh,
didn't have the time. No, that was the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I just didn't have time for it. I thought it'd be a great marketing avenue, but it was right at the beginning of COVID, so I had a bit of time. But yeah, it just didn't go anywhere.
Just didn't.
I couldn't get the guests, and
I'll give you some tips.
We're not all like you. We're not all like you.
I know. So I know I set the bar high and everything like that.
You did indeed.
But listen, welcome back to the show, and I guess this is going to be a little bit different because we've had the conversation. But what I'm going to be talking about is obviously how you've pivoted and changed and things like that. However, let's just give the listeners, I should say, and the viewers, a little bit of a summary of where you were at when we last spoke, which was January 6th, 2020.
Yes, it was. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Oh,
I'm not. You know, this
You're the
isn't
host.
this is about you, not me.
Fair enough. So I'll do my best to remember it.
Yeah, take your time.
We spoke.
No rush.
Just COVID wasn't a thing then, was it? It was one of those things that was just
not in the UK.
periphery.
I think it was obviously in China, but
it was right at the beginning. So I was things was going really well. Doing my sales were good. It was all going great. I run a company that makes custom teamwear for rowers and kayakers, and it was in the middle of my busy phase because I supplied to universities, so that window is my busy time. So it was going really well, and I was just watching it back actually, and I was talking about starting a new company, which never went anywhere, by the way. I'll tell you about that later. Merumask wasn't a thing. It was all just slowly going uphill. And then obviously the massive thing to talk about is obviously COVID, because it's just changed everything. I haven't watched too many of your other ones. I don't know if that's the current topic.
It's a theme that comes up.
It's a theme.
But but obviously with your business, like you said, universities were a main supplier for universities. And they were probably one of the first ones to go, right, stop stuff.
Well, we were coming to the end of the university ordering window. Everyone goes to university, joins the clubs, and they sort of order between November to April. So I was just coming off the back of like the big order window. So sales were going to go down anyway around that time. But then the like clubs and schools sort of pick up a bit. And then universities sort of slide some orders in as well. So it doesn't go away. But that never came. So the sales just completely dropped off.
Did you go into panic mode? How did you react to that?
I didn't. So I live here in my parents' garage. So they don't charge me rent, which is amazing. And that's one of the reasons I actually exist, because of that, or managed to exist. Like without it, there's no way. So I sort of I had just come off the back of a really, really busy few months. I was doing 2 colleges out in the States, just putting massive orders. Things were growing in the UK and things were getting real tough. So I don't want to say I enjoyed it, but the decline in business without the fixed costs, it was
because I think last time we spoke, you were at that stage where you were thinking of obviously trying to find a factory to sort of start building the team, and go down that route.
Plan. Yeah, if things had kept going the way they were going, I would, and if COVID never happened, I probably would have 2 staff in a factory. Somewhere by now.
COVID hits, your sales sounds like pretty much come to a halt.
Went down 99% one month.
99% is quite long, but
just gone.
Did you ever have that one annoying person that's like, yeah, but you've still got that 1%. Hang on to that 1%.
No, I didn't really tell anyone. I think I made a post on LinkedIn, but because everyone's like, some people were doing really well, some people were doing worse, but because of my situation, I'm actually fine.
Yeah.
So a lot.
So
I know a lot of
at
people
what
were
point of the whole situation did you go, you know what? I've got the skills, I've got the ability, I can obviously start this second business, or was it even a bit like second business back then, or was it just almost filling your time?
So what happened? When it all stopped, I panicked for about a week, and then I thought, you know what? It's not the end of the world. Then I used to play Xbox a lot back in the day, and I thought, you know what? It's time to play some Xbox and take some time off. So I played for about a week, 5 hours a
Nice. What's the
day.
game of choice?
I think it was GTA. Actually, I wanted to go
Nice.
back and redo
Classic.
that. And then I was like, no, well, this is fun, but I'm not gaining any skills doing this. It's just a game. I've completed it anyway a few years ago. So I was like, what can
Humble
I do
brag.
now? Well, I never 100% completed it. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Well, it's
You
not.
haven't done all the
But
taxi missions.
no, I completed the main story. That's so. Yeah, don't. I shouldn't say I completed it then. I'm a liar. But
So
then
you decided that, you know, the GTA career wasn't going to take off either.
no, I was never going to go pro in that. As good as I thought I was. And then it got to the point where I was like, well, I need to start doing something. I got this machine, and that was the PPE. The whole PPE thing kicked off.
Yeah.
And I thought I like to say I was one of the first to think of it, but I obviously wasn't. But I looked into making scrubs. At the time, everyone was saying like we need scrubs. So then I started putting together patterns, and I wanted to create it from brand new. I looked for fabrics, and then I bought in a roll and started making scrubs. And I made about £1,000 worth. But then all these community things popped up, making scrubs for free, and then that was sort of the end of what I was doing.
Damn those
So
nice people.
I know they took away our business, but no, it was a great effort, and it really
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean,
it was really good because
really.
it shows the manufacturing that's available in the UK.
Yeah.
So
You're thinking this is basically a job interview for them.
no, I'm thinking it's a great thing for everyone to be doing, but it did help out massively. So especially with like the face shields and everything. So it was great what everyone did.
Yeah.
But that's sort of, but because of it, like I don't mean to complain, but it took away what I was doing, which is fine. And then I sort of went quiet again, and I thought, what can I do now? So I had another few days off, and I was like, well, I can't just sit around and do nothing. So I thought I'll start making masks, and I did actually get. I was one of the when I started making, because now there's 100 suppliers of masks, but I got onto it pretty early, and I was able to do all right with that. I spent ages. I got a drawer, like a big drawer, like this size, filled with prototypes, because I went through just making again all these masks to eventually find one that would work. Like I wanted it to be a really good product. So I spent a while doing that, and then eventually started putting them out. I put them on Facebook, Facebook ads, and I got a few wholesale leads in, and sort of went from there. They went really well to start with. I mean, they're kind of slowing down now because all the competition's coming in, and everyone's sort of making masks now. But yeah, it took off really quickly, and it's still sort of going.
For you, you know, Merumask, do you see this as a long-term business, or is this sort of a bridge in the gap until the sportswear takes back off?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So it's a tough one.
Is this going to be a big news announcement?
Well, what I'm wearing. So
you have to send me one of those.
Oh yeah, well, I've got a few. I'll send you one. It was a tough one because it's with the government changing all the time. Like, how serious is this whole thing?
Yeah.
And then was the second wave coming? The second wave never came, but it's the second wave here now. It all goes with COVID, so you never really know what's going to happen. The reason I'm wearing what I'm wearing is because the brand was a really colorful sort of brand, and it was sort of like an artistic outlet, and I don't want the whole thing to go away, because it's nice having two companies because they sort of offset each other. and it kept things really steady. And also, like, going forward, I mean, I'd love to sort of turn it into a company that makes fashionable things. Like, we put together this crew neck with all some of the mask bands on, and yeah, we think they're really cool. We really like them. So this is one of the designs. I've got a few.
You also have to audio describe for the people that are listening. This is going to be good, guys.
It's a crew neck sweatshirt with some pretty garish colors on it. This one is sunset marble. It's sort of like a marble print in I'd say peach and teal.
Yeah,
very out there.
Very
peach
nice.
And teal. So we're sort of going down that route. Some of the other ones we got is just a pure camo one, a cow print one, another tie dye and a leopard print. We also want to do casual fitting clothes.
How did it feel though? How did it feel when sort of obviously you went through the prototypes, you put it out there, you started getting inquiries? Did you think, you know what, I'm gonna be okay? I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna still be able to make money.
For the masks.
Yeah, for the masks.
I knew it was all going to be okay when I got an order from a housing association that was 1,200 masks.
Wow.
And then I thought, oh, well, this is amazing. That's me booked in for a month.
I'm going to be a busy boy.
I'm going to be a busy boy. So I made all of them myself, which took a very long time. And then I thought, well, all I need to do is get another few of these orders. And then I actually will have grown. So I actually did grow this year because of the other company. Mm-hmm. So it all did work out. Things are slowly going down, but there is a gap in the market for corporate branded masks. So, I mean, I don't know. I've given up trying to plan things out. Things just pop up.
You're just free rolling it.
I'm just free rolling it. Obviously, I'm doing the sales work and going out to make sure these leads do come in. I can't just sit around and wait. But it's going well.
How does it feel? Does it feel any different from the sportswear business by creating masks that, you know, effectively having an impact, you know, that's necessary at the moment? Or for you, this is just a business very sort of like looking at it in black and white?
I just keep the lights on.
Just keeping the lights on, keeping the heating on in these cold winter months.
People love the masks, and it's great that I'm creating something that isn't like, I hate going out and seeing the disposable masks everywhere. They're really like, there's people so many.
Like, literally, I feel like people are literally throwing them out their car windows because you just see them on the floor.
It's absolutely terrible. So to be making a product that will be used again and again, and people email me and tell me they love the products, which is amazing. Like, people do that for the rowing kit, but this is something that's different, that wasn't like 3 years of my life before designing that kit. It's like a testament to, I guess, the design of them. Like, people love them. So it's nice. It feels good.
You wouldn't be able to do it without that 3 years, you know.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
You wouldn't have been able to just go, you know what, I'm going to make 20 or however many prototypes you did, and put it out there for people to obviously like. And you know, they are different, they are funky. I really like them. For you said that
I should have worn one. I've got one here that is. So I got one here that is a new prototype that I made this week because we wanted to make like a bit of a simpler one with it, but I can't even put it on my ears. But there you go.
And so, I'm also very sad it's not matching.
Oh, I know. So was I. I realised this morning.
I feel really bad for the people that are listening to this, but you now have to show the hat.
Oh, the hat. So the hat, I was...
So this is straight away Brixton on a rave. Probably got some hard drugs in you. That's the look you're going for.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly. So the products sort of overlap into rowing. That's why these...
I've never seen a rower wear this outfit.
Well, and then you haven't lived and you haven't watched a lot of rowing. So they don't wear them in races, but it's like a sort of culture thing. So that was sort of the reason why this happened. Rowers wear crew necks a lot, and also they do like bucket hats. So the two products sort of went across well, and it's like this sort of thing. We think it'll be good next year for like festival season, if festivals happen again. Like those bucket hats and these crew necks
100%
will go down well.
Do you think
I was doing a photo shoot? Sorry.
No, but I was just going to ask you a very random question. But do you think it's made you more ballsy in business because your rowing designs and things were sort of quite safe, I guess, in terms of the look of them, but now you're going, you know what? I'm going for the whole, out there design.
I think it will work. So like that's the reason I have confidence in it. And I'll talk about it because I think it will work.
Yeah.
Like what I was just about to say, I went down to a photo shoot and did. I went down to Leander, which is like the top rowing club, and did photo shoots for these. So it was a bit out there because it's like a steeped in tradition place on the Henley Stretch, and we did photo shoots with this stuff, and everyone was looking, and we did one with a cow print bucket hat, and everyone was looking, thinking, oh, it's a bit out there. On the way back to the car, I saw someone wearing a cow print bucket hat. It was nothing to do with what I was doing. Yeah, so I was like, well, people think it's out there, but it's
valid.
It's not. It is the way things are going. Like, it really is.
What's been the most challenging part for you then? What's been the most challenging part over the last couple of months? Because, I think on our first episode together, we even spoke about it back then about coming back on the podcast and seeing how things are progressing. Obviously, we would never imagine what's happened since then. Yeah. So from 6th of July to now, what are some of those times that have been super challenging for you that you've obviously managed to pull yourself through?
Obviously that when COVID and not knowing what was going to happen was a big stress, but because of my situation, like I said, it was manageable. The big stress. So I've actually taken on staff now because Masks has done quite well, and I've then moved into a role where I need to let go of the manufacturing, which I've really struggled to do because whilst I'm sat there and I see the manufacturing, that's what I did for 3 years, and I was just like, "Oh, what are you doing there?" So that's letting go, and then I need sales in now to run the show. So moving
do you feel added pressure now? You've got
there's pressure now. Yeah, definitely. Before I could do everything, do what I wanted, but now it has become a lot more regimented, and it's great. That's exactly what I wanted, but it's different, and I operated better as a sort of do it all entrepreneur. So it's really good, but it's a struggle for me.
It's a learning curve.
It really is, but yeah, getting there.
Which I think most founders go through when they hire staff or bring on team members. Loving the mug, by the way, absolutely fantastic. I feel like that needs. I was about to say, I feel like that needs to be branded. Get someone on board with that.
I really should.
But for you now moving into that role, then what does that allow you to do? Because you obviously must free up a little bit more time. So what are you focusing on when you're not having to sort of manufacture yourself consistently?
So it's been a bit weird. I should be letting go more, but we've had quite a lot in these. So he's been here for 3 months, and we had a big mask order, and then we moved on to some other manufacturer for another company. So I've actually been manufacturing at the same time. So I'm slowly getting more towards the sales. Getting there. And obviously doing podcasts. I have time off to do things like this now.
You should have time off to sit around chatting to me.
Yeah, I just go out of the room and just sit and have a cup of tea, read the news.
Just watch
and pretend I'm exactly
in like a really traditional Victorian teapot, I hope, like back in the old proper English factory days.
That's what we're aiming back for.
That's the aim. Bring back English slave labor effectively. Is there anything that you've learned then? Is there anything that you've learned massively over the last couple of months that perhaps you wish you were doing before COVID anyway in the sportswear side of things?
In the sportswear side of things, no. The whole market's just sort of gone. So I've been looking into other avenues, but I haven't changed too much because I've been focusing on the mask side of things instead. And I actually sort of, I always start companies. It's sort of the ongoing joke of people now is how often I do it. Because before I actually said to you, I was starting that print company.
Yeah.
Didn't I? That went away within a couple of weeks.
And I followed it on Instagram and everything. What a waste of my time.
Don't worry, I got two more companies coming. But yeah, that was a bit of a waste.
It sounds like a bit of a classic shiny object syndrome that a lot of entrepreneurs suffer with.
I would say it's because the reason I wanted to do it was because when you're doing what I sort of think I'm doing, and I guess in most companies, you're sort of stuck doing the same thing, and you sort of lose the creativity. And for me, like what I always enjoyed was creating brands from scratch and proving the concept. And it needs to go a bit further than proving the concept, but like that's what I wanted to do at the time. From doing what I've been doing for so long, going into like fully custom kit for clubs, like that's an absolute nightmare. There are so many things that can go wrong. So I always think to myself, what would I do if I did it all again? I'd make one product and that's it. So you're always thinking about, well, what would you do? And I thought, I'll give this thing a go. But then like it was actually did it for.
So why aren't you doing that for? Why aren't you doing that for Merumask?
Well, I kind of am. We're doing.
Well, you just showed me a hat. You're wearing a crew neck jumper.
So they're not fully bespoke to a customer. There's it's just this one design that's replicated across products, and we do so with the masks. We do like pre-made designs on the shop, but we also do bespoke branding for companies. So we do a bit of both. The masks are obviously a lot larger orders than the rowing, because clubs are smaller, and so it's a bit different. And like that's what I'm good at. So that was.
But it doesn't still quite tick that creativity box for you.
It doesn't. But then I've become so busy, I haven't got time to think about creativity.
After this, you're going to be like, oh, now I do have to do those other two companies.
Well, I actually started another company.
I'm not sure this is now leading into a good example.
No, it's not. This was a sort of bad one as well. But I made a website that is sort of an Airbnb for work from home. So you'd go on and you'd look for somewhere where you could work from home, away from home. So if you're stuck at home, there'd be a property.
I like it.
Yeah, so it'd be like an Airbnb sort of meets WeWork. You would go. So I want to go work away in Berlin for a week. You'd go on and you'd find a property in Berlin that has all the amenities needed, and it's got pictures of the workspaces. You'd get a better deal because you're going to be a professional tenant there. And that sort of spread out to companies wanting to send away teams and sort of things like that. I spoke to a few people in the tech world, said it's a great idea. I made the website, but then things started to pick up again. Yeah. So I've actually handed that off to a university for them to do. So I'm nothing to do with that really anymore. But it was fun. Like it's always good to do things like that. I would say it was sort of like a fun little side project.
But I guess that ticked your box because you said you really liked developing the idea.
And then
so you develop the idea, hand it off, your box is ticked, and hopefully the idea does get developed and something happens with it.
I'll still be involved with it, like maybe an hour a week. But I mean, to do something like that, you'd be looking at like scaling a tech thing, which I didn't have the time to do. And as soon as I realized that, it was fun making the core product, and the website is built to the point where it functions, has membership, you can pay through it, and it would scale up to like 10,000 homes. But then like it's easy to make it, it's not easy to scale it. Yeah. So I say, well, I've enjoyed making this, but I'm not the one to take this forward. So I handed it off to someone else.
That's actually a very wise thing to do because you know what your strengths and you know your weaknesses.
Yeah. My skills are just doing things, but I'm not doing them 100%.
I mean, it's been, from watching you on LinkedIn and Instagram, it has been a real pleasure just seeing the ideas you have in terms of designs and the prototypes formulate into what you have now in terms of effectively a fully established company with staff, and all bred because you didn't want to play GTA anymore. That's what we're saying.
Exactly. I'm a bit of a hot mess. I sort of just do it all.
But which is fine.
We'll get there. We'll get there. It's slowly. Now the fact that I actually have staff, it all sort of has to change.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Forces your hand.
Yeah, I can't get away with what I used to anymore.
It's good.
But it's been fun.
Internal accountability.
I do this for the enjoyment, and I enjoy sort of developing concepts and working on ideas.
Well, listen, Tom, I've enjoyed watching those ideas develop and the concepts come, and I really do hope you do send me one of these jumpers because I love it. And I
don't have one of these specific ones.
Whatever.
But I've got a camo one.
Oh, okay.
Or a tie-dye one.
Oh, it's got to be tie-dye. I've got a tie-dye jumper on the back of my door there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
But one last question, and the question that everyone always waits for: how can people find out more about it, man? How can people contact? How can people buy some masks? What's the best way to do it?
The best way is to find me on LinkedIn, because I make so many different things you can't even keep up with it anymore. My LinkedIn, I think you search me, Tom Noble, founder at OFS and Merumask. OFS, the rowing company, is at OFS Clothing. Merumask is at Merumask. The print company's gone.
don't mention the print company.
I won't print it. Oh, actually, I forgot to show you this. I thought I would draw out a graph of like sales over time. So this sort of illustrate. Can you see that?
Yeah,
it's a bit rough, but that's OFS versus Merumask. So it's
very interesting. Now you want those two lines to meet and very steadily grow.
So yeah, as one sort of disappeared off after that's November to November, as it sort of disappears off, it then picks up Merumask. So there was that big spike, and that spike was
those large orders.
There was big order spikes on like government releases, press releases, and it sort of like tailed off. But that was just a shop, so that doesn't take into account wholesale orders.
Amazing.
But sort of they sort of merged together into like a dip and a curve back up.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Pivots are needed, and pivots in business are what save them sometimes.
Yeah, and actually your mentality of just getting stuck in is exactly what was needed, because I'm sure a lot of other people would have, and people have done. They haven't stood up. They haven't gone off and tried something else. They haven't done that. They've almost enjoyed the time off, which is perfectly fine. But
they've had furlough and stuff to sort of fall back on.
Yeah. And, your sort of business is tricky because you can see your product every single day. You can see the machines, you can see the fabric. So for me, I feel like you would have to, that question of like, what can I do with this would always be there, and you did something with it. So massive.
There's always something to be done.
There's always something.
I have machines, I have the skills. I got a printer here that can print anything. Literally anything's possible in the garment world from what I do. I mean, I specialize in sportswear, but I mean, everything can be done. And when you have that much capability to do things, you think, if you're not doing anything, what you should be, you should definitely. Exactly. There's always something that can be done. There's always products to be made, especially when you can design it in any way you want. So there is no excuse to ever be sat around doing nothing, because there is so much to be done.
Boom. And that's how we're going to end it. Tom, thank you so much for being a returning guest. Now we're going to have to come on again in like 6 months or season 2 to see how everything else is going again.
I'll be running something.
You can be the most returning guest of Founders 365 we ever have.
It'll be Founders 364 then, right?
Well, actually, it should be Founders 366 technically, but hey ho.
You're one as well, so
I'm one. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on again. Thank you for sharing your story, and I hope people check you out and follow your journey.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks everyone else for listening and watching. This has been Founders 365.
Goodbye.